protection portfolio. Our goal is to help you as an IT department, as administrators in your IT department, evolve your IT by enabling you to better manage your endpoints using the best combination of the traditional PC lifecycle management, as well as the new modern management capabilities that are coming out to Windows MDM, Apple or Mac OS MDM. Of course, we already do iOS MDM and Android to help manage those mobile devices. But one of the key cornerstone is managing devices. We also, in ZENworks and the portfolio, help you secure your endpoint devices against common vulnerabilities. So being able to ensure that your the software on your devices is patched, being able to detect malware threats, being able to make sure that devices are encrypted if they are lost or stolen. Also protect organizational data created and accessed from endpoint devices. Talked a little bit about the encryption. We also do some backup, through connected backup as well. And then do all of these three things while providing you with the ability to analyze and dashboard and report on what's going on with your devices in your organization. All doing that in an identity-centric manner. Of course, that means being able to manage either based on device or user identity, depending on which one works best for you, the way you have your organization set up and the type of activity that needs to be done from a single management console where it's appropriate, so that you can reduce costs, improve IT and end user efficiency, and improve the security of your ever expanding endpoint estate. We recognize that you're continually adding new devices, different types of devices, whether that's just Windows devices that are going from Windows 7 to Windows 10 now to Windows 11, or a server device, or whether it's adding completely different types of device form factors like mobile devices and things like that. Of course, the portfolio. I think hopefully everybody is aware of the base products that are in what we consider to be the ZENworks suite of products. That includes the patch management or configuration management, which is really the core of our capabilities, asset management, endpoint security management, full disk encryption, patch management, and then service desk, which of course ships separately and on a different schedule, but integrates with both our asset and configuration management products to enable you to have a seamless way to provision the applications and the other resources that are being self-serviced through Service Desk. And then, of course, ZENworks Reporting cuts across those products to enable you to provide analysis of what's going on in your environment. We have endpoint backup, which is provided through Connected. That's continuous data protection backup for your endpoint devices. And then Paul talked earlier about desktop containers, which is now hybrid workspaces, and the application streaming, again, all part of hybrid workspaces, as we have relaunched and rebranded that product to hopefully help you and our customers, as well as other potential customers, understand not only the packaging part of desktop containers or hybrid workspaces, but also the streaming capabilities that are available to basically provide users the ability to work in their applications regardless of the type of device and where they are. I like to throw in this slide just to kind of give you some feedback on what analysts are saying in terms of ZENworks in 2022. So this last most recent IDC landscape that was released, we were named a leader in the UEM, Unified Endpoint Management, small and medium business market. And one of the things that they pointed out is our ability, and we've done this for a lot of years, but we've really focused on it the last 2-3 years as we've obviously, because of the world conditions and the pandemic and stuff, all of you have been forced to support even more remote working, and most of us at least have more remote working and working from wherever. But the analysts really like what we're doing from the perspective of being able to efficiently manage devices in remote locations and being able to support users in that respect, and support IT departments in being able to provide this to their end users. All right, so that's a quick recap of the portfolio. Let's talk about update 3 now. So what have we done in update 3 to help with that? Every release we have a set of themes that we work towards, and these are major things that we do that we are focused on. In update 3, we had 3 major themes. The first one is that we're extending our content management system to provide on-demand streaming for all content types. I'm going to circle around. I'm just going to introduce these now. I have some. I'll expand on each of these in a minute, individually, and we'll go into a little more details about that. But one of the things is, number 1 was expanding the content management, again, to provide on-demand streaming. We also introduced the next generation patch management to deliver improved patch scan performance, simplify patch content management, and extend the patch library. We'll dive into that a little bit in a couple slides, a little bit more in a couple slides. And then we also continue to enhance the security of the ZENworks system by providing multi-factor authentication for administrators logging into ZENworks Control Center, and to provide even more secure configuration of ZENworks primary servers in the DMZ on the perimeter of your network, right? Your public facing primary servers. In addition to those 3 themes that we focused around, there are things that we do every release. They're listed here. In this release, we've added more than 20 highly requested customer ideas that include remote session recording and reconnect, auditing of the remote session recording, as well as chat. We've added in the ability to see the device the last time the device booted, if a reboot is pending. You've always been able to configure the ZCC timeout, but you had to do it through some property files. We've now added that into a ZENworks Control Center as a configuration setting that you can set that way. We've added in the ability to see the logged in administrators, currently logged in administrators, pinning of frequently used ideas or used items in the frequently used items list. So you're able to now pin something so that it stays in that list, regardless of how often you use it. You may want one to always be there, and pinning it keeps it in that list. We've also added in the last location of devices. It is also displayed on the device list. In terms of new platform support, we have added Windows Server 2022 and SLIS 15 SP4 as ZENworks server platforms. And we've also added those as long along with Windows 10 and 11 20H2 up to 20H2 and Mac OS 12 as managed devices. And then, as always, we are constantly, each release, making sure that we are doing technical upkeep for the third-party technologies that we use in the product to make sure that those stay secure and are up to date within the product. So that goes with Android API support, Tomcat, JDBC drivers, Angular, Microsoft API, Postgres, Jetty, Spring. We used a lot of technologies underneath, and I just felt it important to point out that we have done a lot of technical upkeep around those things. All right, so that's a kind of a brief overview. Let's dive into a little bit what we mean by on-demand streaming of content. So before update 3, the traditional way that we distributed bundles, policies, and system updates is that you would be at the ZCC console, you would create a bundle, that bundle would be created in the ZENworks database, and then you would upload the content. If that bundle had content, you would upload it to the server's content repository, where it would be housed. And then if you have other primary servers and satellites, that content would then be replicated out to those other primary servers and satellites, depending on the schedule that you set up and which ones you wanted them to be replicated to. So in this diagram, in this example, the content was uploaded to primary server 1, and then it's been replicated out to primary server 2 and satellite 1, but you'll notice it's not on satellite 2. All right. So then when you have a managed device and you assign the bundle to the device, and the device goes to install it, it contacts its content server using its closest content server list. And in this case, we're just going to have satellite 1 as the only content server in its list, but it goes to satellite 1 and it looks for the content for bundle A, which is content 1. It's there, so it's happy and it's able to install just fine. Now let's assume that bundle A was assigned to a managed device that only connects to satellite 2 for its content. Satellite 2 doesn't have the content. As we all know, if the managed device goes to satellite 2, it doesn't find it, it's going to come back and it's going to fail because that satellite 2 does not have the content. So what have we done? So in update 3, so what we've done is we've added in the ability for content to be streamed on demand. We actually introduced on-demand streaming of content in update 2 with our anti-malware solution that we provide with endpoint security management. So this is an extension of that capability into our other content types, the bundles, policies, and system updates, to allow for streaming of all types of content. So this now with on-demand distribution or on-demand streaming, when let's say that content, the content 1 is on primary server 1, and it's not replicated out to any of the other content servers. The managed device requests bundle A. It looks in the content repository, and it also looks in the on-demand content repository. They're just a different set of folders within the content repository that allow us to differentiate between content that's been pulled on demand versus content that has been replicated out. But it looks in both of those, and if it doesn't find the content there, rather than failing, it says, okay, I can't get that content. I'm going to go to to an upstream server, in this case, primary server 2, and request it from that server. If that content server has it, it will serve it back down. If it doesn't, it goes to another upstream content server, in this case, primary server 1, looks for it. It does have it. It serves it back down to primary server 2. It basically serves it back down the chain until satellite 1 has it, and then then bundle A can be installed on the managed device. So you can see that from this that there won't be any failure because the device or the content server doesn't have it, and it can be pulled on demand. So the great thing about the on-demand streaming, it can be used in combination with replication, which we're actually calling pre-caching now. So you can pre-cache, continue to pre-cache or replicate content that you want to your different content servers, or you could go completely on demand and have it just pulled down. Obviously, some of the advantages to doing on-demand content is that it's only ends up on your or to doing on-demand streaming is that the content only ends up on your content server, in particular your satellites, if it's actually needed, so you're not taking up extra space. In addition to that, we also clean up on-demand content on a different schedule than we do replicated content. So by default, on-demand content is cleaned up. Every on-demand content that is unused after 30 days is cleaned up. Right, and you can determine that. If you want to be more aggressive, you can say, okay, if on-demand content hasn't been, if satellite 1 requests content for a managed device on November 1st, and I only want to keep it around 15 days, and if by November 16th another device hasn't contacted satellite 1 for that same content, that content will be cleaned up from satellite 1 so that it's not taking up space. Then, of course, if a device requests it after that, it would just need to be streamed down to the content server again. So a lot of advantages to being able to stream content from a volume management or a disk space usage management perspective.
Well, that should really help with like you said, the disk management on those satellites. Sometimes they're just a workstation or something, so you can really free that up and then actually not inhibit your devices attached to them from getting their bundles.
Exactly. And one of the things that obviously over the course of the years with replicated content is that you've always had to create a bundle and then be careful about assigning it to devices or at least having it installed on devices before the content was replicated out to content servers so that the installation wouldn't fail. Now that's not the case, right? And yeah, exactly. We will, as Paul said, we will have additional ZENcast in the future where we dive into exactly how to configure the on-demand content streaming and in combination, if you want to use pre-caching, things like that. We'll dive into that more and give some best practices around that and help you understand how that works and how you can best leverage both of those things in your system to get the best performance.
And I think, as we discussed offline, Darrin, not only this particular topic, but if there's other topics that they want to hear about U3 or any part of the ZENworks product, they could always just email us at zen@microfocus.com or contact us through email or whatever details we have for them. I think that way we can focus in on, and this is for the audience, that way we can focus in on your questions directly, and we can formulate a presentation towards those particular topics. So Yeah, thanks.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, Paul. All right, let's talk about the next generation patch management. So, why is this the next generation? Well, over the years, we have continuously enhanced patch management, adding in different capabilities and whatnot. For the last 15 years that we've been doing patch management, this release we have really some major new benefits that really up the game and some of the things that are happening in patch management. So major new benefits: faster patch scanning. Uh, the scan engine on that we're using now, um, we're talking typically seconds to do to scan for patches rather than minutes, right? So much faster scanning obviously means less utilization of the device's CPU and the resources, and the patch scanning is every bit as effective as the old patch scanning was. So much faster patch scanning to optimize performance on the endpoint devices. We also have a more active growing patch catalog with faster support for new applications and platforms. That means that ideally, as new platform OSs, new versions come out, that we can support those even faster than we have been, as well as continuing to increase the number of third-party applications available for patching through the feed. We talked about the on-demand streaming of content. Well, patch management will be using on-demand streaming as well, so that again, if the patch content is not at the content server when the patch needs to be installed, that content server can go upstream and get the content that it needs. We talked about automatic cleanup. Again, these are all benefits of the on-demand content system, but we have automatic cleanup of unused patch content from the content server, so no more needing to try to delete patch bundles or things like that to be able to clean up content from your system. So much better balancing and use of the resources on your satellites and even on your primaries. We've also, because of the way that we're doing things, we've decreased the amount of patch data that's stored in ZENworks database. This means that that there are fewer references that have to be done within the database tables and stuff like that. It just overall stresses the ZENworks database a little bit less, and also means doesn't grow the database as much as the previous way that we were doing things. And most of this comes from the fact that we don't create bundle objects for patches that we remediate. We remediate now, and we'll go into details of that in a future session. But again, decreased amount of patch, and we do this all while maintaining the same great administrative workflows that you know. So we continue to have patch policies. We continue to do remediation deployments the same way. You can continue to see what's patched and what's not patched, what needs to be the status of those devices, the same dashlets that you're used to. So a lot of these things are under the covers changes that have been made to improve the way that patch management works. So what's really changing that's brought about these benefits? So the main thing that's changing is that we are moving to what's called the advanced patch platform. And really, when we talk about a patch platform, the patch platform includes the feed that the patches come through, the agent on the managed device, and then the services on the primary servers that process results that are rolled up from those managed devices. So the new advanced patch platform includes a new feed. It includes a new managed device, a new patch agent on managed devices, and it includes a new patch microservice on primary servers that takes the place of and does the work of what was being done by the loader service previously. It handles all actions and activity with the database and some things like that. It's all part of our move to provide more microservices that are more specific to capabilities, so that we can break out and containerize those services going forward, which provides for a better cloud support, as well as allowing you to potentially run services, only the services on primary service that you want running. For example, if you have servers that you don't want patch running on, you would be able to turn off the patch service on that, and because maybe that primary server is focused on doing inventory collection, right? And you'd only want it focused doing that. Right now, we don't have that capability, but by moving to microservices and containerizing, we will get that type of capabilities. So the patch feed is the online repository, or the CDN, that contains the available patches. And as I mentioned, one of the things about going to the new patch feed is that this new patch feed actually contains more applications that can patches for more applications that can be applied. You will see those immediately in the patch feed if your devices require those patches. The patch agent is the component on managed devices that detects and remediates the missing patches. And then I already talked about the patch microservice, because it handles all patch-related processing on primary servers. The other major change behind this, of course, is the on-demand streaming of patch content. And I've already talked about that, so I'm not going to say anything more than that the new advanced patch platform utilizes the on-demand streaming functionality to provide better management of the patch content. The patch content is so dynamic, right? It's more dynamic than the bundles that you distribute for applications and stuff, because you have new patches coming in all the time, right? And by being able to do on-demand streaming of those patches, it just provides for better management of the patch content. This next generation patch management does require a migration to go from the old patch platform to the new patch platform, and that's because of the new patch microservice, the patch agent, and the patch feed, or the patch content. This migration happens after you apply the system update, after you apply system update 3. So it doesn't happen at the same time as the update. We've specifically done this so that you can update all your primary servers and satellites to update 3. You can update the managed devices to update 3 that you want. You can continue to use older agents with the new ZENworks agents with the new patch feed as well. We'll talk about that in the future, in a future ZENcast. But again, we want you to be able to get to update 3, be stable, and then initiate the patch migration when you're ready to do that. The patch migration wizard basically shuts down the patch service and related services. It removes all patch bundles and content. So all the patch bundles from your database, all the patch content from your repositories. It allows you to keep or remove patch policies and patch configuration settings. So all of those things, patch policies and the configuration settings can carry over, or if you want to start fresh, you can start fresh as well. And then it helps you configure the new patch system. All right, so just some points to note with the new patch solution. It does replace the current patch solution, and that solution will be phased out on May 31st, 2024. It's the new patch solution is only included in ZENworks 2020 Update 3, which means that versions prior to that will not include that. You have to upgrade to ZENworks 2020 Update 3 to use the new patch solution. And this is a key point that I want to make here. The new patch solution must be used with any patch subscription, new or renewal, purchased after May 31st, 2023. So if you if your patch subscription renews after starting June 1st of 2023, you need to be using the new patch solution. And then the longest, and then let's say that your subscription, you have a longer subscription, maybe you did a 3-year subscription. If that expires after May 31st, 2024, you still need to be on the new feed by May 31st of 2024, because at that point, the old feed will be discontinued and will not be available anymore. All right. So that's about patch. That's an introduction to a quick overview of what we're done in patch. Let's talk about what we've done in terms of securing ZENworks. We introduced multi-factor authentication for administrators logging into ZENworks Control Center. We've done that by integrating with NetIQ Advanced Authentication. If you don't have NetIQ Advanced Authentication, which is a Micro Focus product, we have bundled a limited entitlement for NetIQ Advanced Authentication. The limited entitlement provides an equivalent number of licenses as your ZENworks licenses, obviously valid during your ZENworks maintenance, as long as ZENworks maintenance is current. It supports one-time password, SMS, one-time password, email, Radius client, emergency password, and LDAP password. It doesn't support some of the other available NetIQ Advanced Authentication methods. You would need to have the full NetIQ Advanced Authentication for those things to work. And it can be upgraded to the full advanced authentication if you get the limited entitlement and you decide that you like it and you want to use it with other products, or want to use some of the authentication methods that are not provided by the limited entitlement. Multi-factor authentication is only available for ZCC as of now. It's not available with the ZMan online command line utility, administrative utility.
So
And
I got a question
yeah,
here real quick. And actually it's on patch. Don Solberg mentioned. So the patch
okay.
wizard removes all of the patch content. And second part is, sounds like a big hit on WAN utilization for remote satellite servers with low bandwidth. How can you talk to that?
So yes, the migration wizard, what it does is the migration wizard, when we go in and we clean up the database, what we do is we mark all of the patch bundles for a soft delete, which means that that based upon the deletion schedule, the soft delete schedule, that each content server will delete content from their own repository. So if you have a satellite, that satellite will start deleting the content on that content server on in its repository, based upon the soft delete schedule. It's not one of it's not one of those things where everything will be deleted immediately. It will be deleted over a period of time, because that's the way that the soft delete works, um, so that the content servers, whether that's a satellite or a primary, are not the performance is not impacted by high CPU utilization or high hard disk utilization for deleting of content. But yes, the content is deleted. We have to do that because going to a new patch feed, the content has changed, right? There's different, it's packaged differently, and using the on-demand streaming, again, it's packaged differently that way. So yes, we have to delete those, but we are using the soft delete mechanism to make sure that we are not just boom hitting your satellite and saying, okay, delete delete 500 megabytes of, or whatever it may be, actually be more than that, right? Delete 500 gigabytes of patch data from the hard disk all at one time. It'll do it in smaller batches than that.
Okay. So we have the removal is obviously scheduled and over a period of time. And then what
Mm-hmm.
about the population of that on the remote
Well,
side?
the population of that can be done one of two ways. Ideally, what you'll want to do is you want to leave everything on demand, right? So what would happen is that as devices require patch content, that the satellite would download that content at the time that the devices need that. Now you can also, and again, these are details that we can go into a lot more in the future. You can also set up on each content server the schedule of times when on-demand content can be downloaded, as well as, so if you have a satellite server with limited bandwidth that you only want downloading content at certain times, you can set up a schedule to restrict it to, let's say, downloading content between midnight and 6 a.m. And then you can set up your patching so that content is downloaded. The content download is still initiated via on demand, but it's done during that time window, right? So there are ways that you can set up and control when that on demand, when a satellite will request content from upstream to help, as well as the throttling rate to be used with it, and so on.
Sure. Perfect. Thanks, Darrin.
Mm-hmm. Good questions. And as I mentioned, which I've mentioned several times here, I probably don't need to mention again, but these are all great questions because we will be happy to obviously do more ZENcasts on these things in the future, and these are areas that we'd love to dive into more detailed discussion or presentation for you. Okay, so we talked about multi-factor authentication. Let's talk about securing ZCC. So this is one of the things that we've done to help continue to secure primary servers on your perimeter, in your DMZ. What we've had in the past is that all services, ZENworks services, running under one Tomcat instance. So the Zen server, the Zen loader, ZCC, Casa, OSP, all the client services were all running under one Tomcat instance through port 443, right? So basically that meant that you open port 443 on the firewall, which allowed your managed devices to go through and get the client services that they need. But it also allowed your administrator or anyone else to try to hit those administrative services, right? What we've done is in update 3, we have split the Tomcat into 2 instances, one that is a client, one that handles the client services, and one that handles the administrative services. So this way, when you open port 443, only your client services are available to your managed devices or anyone else poking around, and your admin services are not available on port 443. The admin services are now on port 7443 by default, but during the system update, you get to specify what port number you want to use for that. We default to 7443, but you can change it to whatever port you want. Then you have the option of handling, how you provide access to your administrative services outside the firewall, whatever way that you want. You could decide that you don't want port 7443 exposed and that your administrators need to use a VPN to get in to do that, right? Which is not really what you want to have happen with your end users, right? You want your end users to be able to hit port 443 and come through. But administrators are different. Maybe you want to enforce the VPN in for your administrative services, or if you want, you can open up port 7443, but at least you know exactly what you're doing. You're opening port 7443 for administrative services or whatever port number you assigned, and you can make that choice knowingly about how you are providing access to your ZENworks administrative services outside the firewall. So that's the overview that I wanted to give around the what's happening in update 3. There's so much things. I didn't even go into a lot of the customer ideas other than to just list a few. We can be happy to show those in an upcoming ZENcast if that's what you'd like. Let me take just a second to just go over the roadmap so that you know what's happening going forward. So we just released 2020 update 3. You can see that here. Our next release will be 2020 update 4, and that will be another system update release. Where we're going to continue our transition to cloud architecture. So, for example, the microservice that we did for patch, we're continuing to do those types of things for the other capabilities to be able to manage those and have a better cloud offering or better support within the cloud. We're also adding support for Azure AD as a user source for end users. We know a lot of our customers are now wanting to use Azure AD for their user source. We will be introducing Mac management via Mac OS MDM as well. We have mobile enhancements that we'll continue to do. We have some anti-malware enhancements, particularly around email notifications of detected malware threats. And then we have some patch enhancements that we're doing, as well as then the customer ideas. So that gives you a little bit of an idea. We're just starting on 2020 update 4 release development. Right now we're shooting for the middle of 2023. So in terms of the first half of 2023, we're probably looking around the May June timeframe for that. And then that's for ZENworks 2020 update 4. ZENworks 2023, our next the release after that will continue some of these same enhancement Windows 10 MDM, Mac MDM enhancements. You can hopefully from this you can see the areas that we are focusing on and and continuing to push out enhancements and improvements in, continue transition to of our cloud architecture, as well as the focus on the modern device management for Win 10, Mac, iOS, Android, continued patching enhancements to help you make sure that you can keep your devices free of software vulnerabilities, anti-malware enhancements for to continue to provide threat detection and improve the areas around that, and then customer ideas. So that's where we're heading. Give you a little flavor for that. And that's what I have for you today.
That's
so
awesome.
Paul?
Yeah, thank you, Darrin. Yeah,
You bet.
so again, for those out there watching the recording or on live, please email us and use the ideas exchange too. We're trying to really dig into those to get you, that gives us an idea of your focus. But send us email ideas for topics regarding Update 3 so that we can focus on those when we do our next ZENcast. We look forward to more Update 3 content deep dives, Darrin. We appreciate you being here. And for those watching, we will have the PDFs and links in the description, both of the ZENcast and Darrin's presentation after the posting this afternoon. But I really appreciate your time, Darrin, and giving us that feedback and understanding of that new the new things that are happening. And I appreciate that your time today, being able to explain that to us, and we look forward to seeing the deep dives. I know we don't have enough time today to get into even a portion of those, but your explanation has been great in showing us what's to come.
You're welcome, and thanks for having me on. And just would reiterate, as Paul has said, if you have questions that you'd like to reach out, please take advantage of the zen@microfocus.com email address. That comes to all of the ZENworks product managers, and we monitor that and respond on those as well. So definitely take advantage of the zen@microfocus.com communication avenue.
Excellent. Thank you, Darrin. I appreciate your time today, and we look forward to talking to you in the new year on these deep dives.
Thanks.
Thanks again. So a few references in today's, you'll be able to download these in the comments of the recording. But there's an information blog, there's reference links to Update 3 and what Darrin was talking about. There's a blog out there and additional information. So, and here's some reference links, which has what's new, platform support, patch management, and so forth. So those are all there for direct links to those particular new topics in this product that we've provided for Update 3. Also visit the community and give us your ideas, give us your discussions. When you select any particular one, you can easily go into discussions or ideas. That way we can carry on that conversation. And a lot of other admins out there join in those discussions. So make sure you go on out there and observe that as well. The schedule next time, today is what's new in Update 3. We have controlling USB devices. And closing out the year, we'll do year-end overviews and futures of UEM. We have other requests that you've asked for, so we'll have those upcoming in 2023. If you want to see the full live schedule, you can see them on our webpage here so that you can see what's coming up and also past reviews of the different demonstrations. So quick links to things that are on our support and training website. So we're just going to cover real briefly the ZCM or the current versions. We're currently on ZCM 2020 Update 3. We do have some releases like 2020 Update 2 FTF, 10.11 is out there. ZRS 7.8 is our latest ZRS. ZSD 831 and hybrid workspaces 22.9. And upcoming futures, obviously, as Darrin mentioned, there's going to be a ZCM 2020 Update 4, ZSD 8.4. Of course, both of these have just been released, so we're building those future enhancements in this list. And then hybrid workspaces 2212 also. Some of the community things, people have called and wanted to know about the Apache Comtext. So this is basically a bunch of links to the latest items that have been of interest to customers. So we have these links in here in the PDF that'll be in the comments. Feel free to download that so you have all of these links, and some of these may or may not pertain to you. One thing I do want to mention is be sure to double check your quarterly security patches if you have any appliance, whether it's ZCM, ZRS, or ZSD. We do those quarterly on a regular cadence, so be sure to keep those up to date. And then we have some community cool solutions and TIDs. So some new things that have come out from customers' requests or from our support or our SEs on different topics within the different products. So we have some ZSD topics here, some ZCM topics here, and you can see those TIDs. And these are recently released ones. So again, I'm trying to bring you the latest thing that you may have question on. It may already be out there in a TID. In our community, again, we've been out there. We showed you the community. There is a ZSD blogs for the new ZSD and hybrid workspaces. There are other live casts. If you're like this one, you're looking for others for other products. Filer's done, GroupWise, Enterprise Messaging, OES, and iPrint are all done on these cadences by Robin Redgrave. So feel free to tune into those. Those links are present. You just have to sign up and do that. Some of the events and recordings, the TTP is, we had one in October. It's virtual. You can go out there to see some of those presentations. There's a Bright Talk UEM hybrid workspaces that was done on November 10th that you can go out to view. And then the TTP conference in December in Bangalore. That will be in person. So if you've never been out there and can't get the opportunity, I highly recommend that. The next ZENcast, again, we talked about is going to be ZCM controlling USB devices. I look forward to doing that one with you, as well as thank you very much. Stay safe, and those that celebrate Thanksgiving, I'm definitely thankful for you, and enjoy your Thanksgiving and holidays. All right? Thank you, everybody. Have a great week.